So welcome to this special edition of ALN Thursday at 4. We're speaking with Dominic Townsend in a rapid fire question and answer session to get some important information about certification out. Dominic is president of ABS Quality Evaluation, and they certify organizations to ISO standards and other qualifications. And they've certified a couple of U.S. organizations to ISO 55001. So Dominic is also an ALN board member. Thank you, Dominic, for joining us. And the thing that made me really want to have this discussion is to understand the effect of the pandemic on certification. What happened when the pandemic struck to certification?
Well, thank you, Mike, for the opportunity to speak about it. What happened during the pandemic, the certification cycles, it really did slow down our audit activity for a period of about 3 months. It started in late February and through most of May. A lot of organizations were still trying to figure out how they were going to open their facilities and start operating again. So needless to say, it did slow down the audit activities and certification work that we were planning. Since May and June, organizations have begun to open up, and they've learned quite a bit of how to operate more effectively during pandemics. And we've seen our business activities increase quite significantly over the last several months, which has been quite encouraging.
So what type of remote activities were you doing?
A lot of our work is done remotely now. And although I believe that organizations will open up, which they have, and we're starting to do more on-site audits, but I believe this is going to shape the way we do things into the future. Remote activity, I believe, is going to be here to stay. And a portion of our auditing work will be done on a remote basis, especially when we're doing interview areas with management teams. Those things will be most likely done remotely, as long as the accreditation bodies will continue to allow those audits being done that way.
So a lot of companies are finding efficiencies.
Yes, they are. They're able to operate at different times when they need to. They're able to allow activities to open up, and the cost efficiencies of not having auditors travel and that expense for the travel time and expenses. So they're gaining the benefit of those auditors not having to travel into their areas. And it also, the bigger aspect of it is keeping people safe, especially during a pandemic like this, is we want to make sure that our clients are safe, our auditors are safe, and we're able to effectively do good audits around the world.
Are you seeing any increase in audits and certification to show that people are safe? Is there any activity in that area?
Yeah, what we're seeing now is that organizations have implemented a lot of protocols, and remotely we're able to do audits, and our auditors are at home or in their offices doing audits, and the organizations that are operating, because we still need to see how their plants are working effectively. So they'll go in and set up their what they call ICT systems, which allows us to go through their facilities through video monitoring. But they've also implemented certain protocols that are governed by the CDC and OSHA guidelines, which makes sure that they're operating in a safe and effective manner. And us as ABS, we have our own protocols that we've implemented to make sure that if we are going on site, that our auditors or surveyors around the world are meeting certain expectations and that they have the proper PPE equipment when they're going into facilities.
Excellent. So what recommendations do you have for companies that are considering certification?
Well, there's a couple things. One, I think they need to build systems that really meet their needs, and not to make a system to meet the intent of the standard. They really should take the standard and implement it into how they actually operate. To me, that's very important for a successful certification. Also, to make sure they provide the necessary resources and commitment to developing a strong program. And then the biggest piece of it is to always continue strive for continual improvement. The way you do businesses today will be different in 5 years. So you're always striving for that continual improvement as you're implementing a certification system.
5 months, as we found out this year.
Absolutely.
Pretty quickly. So relative to ISO 55000, which the Asset Leadership Network is a strong proponent of,
Right.
what do you see there in terms of any trends?
Well, I think this is more when you're looking at asset management. The big things is to help organizations manage the life cycle of their assets. Some of the big benefits are better control of their daily activities, achieve higher returns with their assets, and it's also to help reduce the total cost of risk. So, especially now during pandemics, organizations are looking at their bottom line, trying to control their cost. So they need more from their assets. So asset management systems is a good way for them to actually manage the productivity and the life cycles of their assets to get more out of them.
Excellent. Well, those were the rapid fire lightning questions that we wanted to address and give people a quick overview of where certification is right now. Are there any other comments you would like to make?
Now, one, I appreciate the opportunity to speak, and also, the biggest thing here is really, as the pandemic, unfortunately, it's happened, but it's also changed the way organizations are operating, and it's made us much more efficient. It makes us look at ways of how doing business, and into the future, it is going to shape up how we actually operate in the world. So, my biggest thing is making sure that everybody's safe and that we're doing a great work out in the field.
Great. Well, thanks again to Dominic Townsend, President of ABS Quality Evaluations and ALN board member.
Thank you, Michael.